But just what's your first name?
My name is James.
And where are we right now?
Well, we're at the Barbershop down in Capitol Heights, Maryland.
And you have met Miss Shanta Jackson.
Yes, I met Miss Jackson.
University of Maryland Center for Health Equity, doing the outreach education. And on the sign behind you on the wall is a message about colon cancer screening. And you were just describing, issues with black men and their health.
And one of the things that we're finding a lot, as black men, a lot of times we're very reluctant to go to the doctors, or once we think that we have something, if we have something, a lot of times we're reluctant to go and get it checked out, and sometimes it's to our disadvantage, because by the time we do finally get around to getting something checked out, we have some type of problem or issue that could have been prevented very easily by just going and getting screenings. And I was just talking about, I had two of my friends, or my best friend actually had died last year from diabetes. Diabetes is another one of the big issues in our community. He died from diabetes after battling it for a couple of years, he could have prevented his death, but he just didn't take care of himself. Then you have a lot of folks
But how old was he?
Well, he was around 55 years old.
Died at 55?
Died at 55. As I also was saying, I had another friend, two other friends. One friend, he had got his foot cut off last year from diabetes. Also, he was not doing the things that he needed to do to improve his condition. Same thing, I had another friend a couple of years ago, same thing. He opted not to do anything about his diabetes and subsequently lost his life. When he could have still been here today had he decided to just go and deal with the diabetes issues and try to treat it,
all before their time.
All before their time. I mean, it was, this is a preventable disease, or controllable disease if one decides to go out and actually take, to treat it or take care of themselves or do the things that they need to do to control it.
So what do you think about bringing the message to people in the barbershop?
Well, I think this is a very captive audience. A lot of times these folks are sitting here, they're either watching the television or reading or whatever. And I think it's a good opportunity for us, especially as African Americans, to actually get a group of guys, especially African American men, together at one time in one setting and talk about some of the health issues and some of the concerns that we have in our community.
So what is it about men, you think, that makes it more challenging?
Well, I don't, because again, as I said earlier, a lot of times, a lot of men are just reluctant to go and get checked because they're afraid that they're going to find out that they got something, and they're afraid that they don't want to know. And then when they do find out, then a lot of times, unfortunately, it's too late.
Well, how's that any different than women?
Well, women are more, as you know, a lot of women tend to be more proactive when it comes to their health. A lot of times they're getting screenings a lot earlier than men, a lot more often than men do. They have a tendency not to be afraid of the doctor, which a lot of times men are afraid of the doctor for whatever reason. Again, a lot of it stems from the fact that they don't want to find out that they have something. And so a lot of times, by the time that they do figure out what they've gotten, a lot of times it's too late, or it's for the illness is advanced to a point where it's going to be an issue in their lives as far as their quality of life goes. So,
but how can it be better not to know?
And again, I'm not advocating that. I'm not saying it's better not to know, but that just seems to be the general idea that men have. I guess it's just a fear of the unknown.
Okay.
A fear of the unknown. I'll probably categorize it as a fear of the unknown.
So when we come and we engage the men here, rather than an emergency room,
right,
here in the barbershop, rather than in a hospital setting, you think we can get the message across better?
Oh, I think without a doubt, because again, you have a captive audience here, and a lot of these guys here, they may be thinking about maybe I need to go to the doctor, but I'm scared. But then, especially when they start hearing guys talk about some of their experiences with prostate issues and diabetes issues. A lot of times, if you hear someone talk to you about that and give you their story in regards to what had happened to them as far as their health goes, sometimes it may trigger something in a lot of individuals and make them say, well, maybe I need to go to the doctor.
So you actually think that if men talked about their health issues with one another, right, in a trusted setting, it can be a cue to action for them to take charge of their health?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Again, it's just like anything when you're among your peers, and a lot of times peer pressure and some of the things that go on within your peer group, and some of the discussions in your peer group tend to make you more comfortable about talking about those things as opposed to going to a doctor's office or a clinic or whatever. And a lot of times, again, some of these stories that my peers might share with me might hit home and make a guy think, well, maybe I should get this checked out, or maybe I should look into this, or maybe I should tell my brother about this, or maybe I should tell my cousin about this. We try to prevent some of the things that we see that have been the ills of our community.
So with this project called HAIR, Health Advocates in Reach and Research, we actually bring the doctors into the barbershop too.
Oh yeah, and I was surprised to hear that's very good. That's a very good thing. And especially, I know some of the programs bring in guys to check blood pressures and things of that sort, which is also a good thing too, because a lot of guys have high blood pressure issues and don't want to deal with that either. That's another issue in our community that's been pretty detrimental to a lot of us also.
But you were mentioning recently about members of just your friend network that have actually died recently.
Right. Yeah, as I said, my best friend died from diabetes. He wasn't taking care of himself like he should have, eating things that he knew he shouldn't be eating. And I used to get on him so much. And he was to the point where he was a type 2 diabetic, but he was actually having to shoot the insulin. Sometimes he wouldn't even take his insulin like he was supposed to be taking it. And I would get on him about that, and he would still brush it off where it doesn't make me feel, it makes me feel funny. I don't feel the same when I take the medicine. But I tell him, you have to take the medicine if you want to be normal or if you want to continue to live. Again, obviously, I obviously went on deaf ears because he didn't always listen to what I said, and so, ultimately he lost his life.
So, any other strategies you think that we can add to our Barbershop Network health program?
Well, I think you guys have gotten off to a great start by coming in and engaging with our guys here in the barbershop, and with the screenings and having the doctors come in, makes it even more personal. And I guess you set aside little areas in the barbershop for guys to come in and actually talk to these guys on an individual basis might be also a good thing too.
So what do you think about bringing a pharmacist in?
Without a doubt, the pharmacist might also be able to help, especially as I said earlier about the high blood pressure issue, because a lot of times, a lot of guys are reluctant to take pills too.
Why?
Because again, they feel as though some guys may not want to take pills because they might feel as though it might affect them sexually or whatever, so they don't want to take the pills. That's always been a misnomer that if you take these blood pressure pills, it might have an effect on you in that area. So a lot of guys are hesitant about taking pills because of that.
But the pills can keep you alive.
Yeah, I know. But again, sometimes, and a lot of times you talk to guys, you have to always stress, which would you rather do? Is sex more important than living? A guy has to evaluate that.
Well, also, if you're having side effects, and you talk about it, they can change the medication.
Medication, right? But a lot of guys just feel as though once they start taking the medications, that that's the end of everything for them. And so a lot of times they're very hesitant or reluctant about even talking to a doctor about taking the pills. And a lot of guys I know, they've gone and gotten screenings and they've told them they had high blood pressure, but they still continue to ignore that.
And do you know people who are also caregivers of whether it's parents or loved ones, and they're wanting to understand what are all these pills so-and-so's taking?
It's funny you should mention that. My mom lived to be 85, but my mother had came to live with me the last 3 or 4 years of her life. And when she was living in Carolina, she came up here and lived with me in Baltimore. And she came up, she had so many pills. Oh, she must have had about 7, 8 pills. And every day she would complain about having to take them. But I got to the point where I had to really explain. I found that once I got up here and got over with the doctors that she had here, I kind of established exactly what each pill was for. And I know, she had a lot of pills. I was a little about her taking so many pills. I wondered about that also. But once I found out what the pills were about, I would encourage her to take the pills. And she really didn't want to, but I would make sure that she took her medicine every day.
So that helped you to know what she was supposed to be taking. So bringing a pharmacist in here to the barbershop to answer questions like that.
Right. That would be, I think it would be a great help. And again, especially with the guys that might have high blood pressure and things like that, so to let them know, give them an explanation of how the drugs affect them, so they have they'll be more knowledgeable. How, whether or not that drug is going to hurt them or not, to kind of get away from the misconception of what drugs will do to them.
Well, I can't thank you enough. Is there any final word you want to give a shout out to the brothers?
I just want to tell the brothers, don't be afraid to go to the doctor and get your health checked up. You know, try to get your yearly checkup, especially when you get over the age of 40. Just make sure you go and get your screenings every year, and just to check up to make sure everything's okay with you.
Thank you very much.